Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about a bit of a political topic as in Russia-China moon base. So let's dive right into it. Now first you have to understand, it's all just politics. So we start with Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. What does this mean? It simply means two countries came together and they are like, okay, we are serious about this. This is not a project. This is not something where like, okay, this much money we're gonna pay, this much ownership you're gonna have. This is nothing like that. This is just like, we agree to do this or look into it. Simply put it that way. So roadmap was created to create an international moon base. Now that international part is interesting here, simply because two main giants will take care of it. Think of it this way, like how ISS has two main giants, Russia and USA, simply because they are the only two countries with the capability of sending astronauts to ISS. So the idea is it's going to be jointly constructed with these two giants, aka China and Russia, and they're going to create what we call International Scientific Lunar Station, or ISLS. It's going to be very hard to remember that name. Now, so basically the two main giants is China National Space Administration, CNSA, and Russian Roscosmos. And this puppy was signed on March 2000, basically 9 March and 2021. Now you may be like, okay, wait a minute, this is old, then why the heck I'm getting YouTube being flooded with this puppy? Well, because recently during a space conference they showcased a video about it. So, and they were like, basically these things were happening in the background. Even it was not hidden, it was not top secret, it was just like they're working on it. Is now they announced it. So this is the level one of it. Then let's understand what's the idea behind it. The idea is very simple. Two main partners, Russia and China, and it's open with collaboration. Now this is a very interesting aspect. When ISS was built, there was a quote-unquote understanding that Soviet Union during its fall had way too many rocket scientists, and if these rocket scientists have no job, they will go to any country and they have the enough skill set, knowledge and experience to build ICBMs. So they are like, okay, Europe came together, it's like, we cannot allow this to happen, and Russia was like, we have too many rocket scientists to feed. So the USA and European Union came up with the idea of ISS, International Space Station, and they're like, okay, we're gonna build this and this is gonna keep occupying all of these people. Basically it was like an insurance payment, so to say. So that's why whenever you are talking about these sort of things, you have to understand the politics behind it. So open with open collaboration with other things simply means in this way that these two players are strong enough to complete this mission on their own, but if anybody else wants to join it, they can do it. So for example, right now as we speak, European Union and UAE are in talks. Now these talks are political talks, so it could go on for a year or it could be like done in 5 minutes. So but be mindful, this is serious. That's why the impact of a Russian space agency is serious enough. And if the fact is like USA has nothing to answer for it, it's like, yeah, people might choose this. Now this puppy is a long-term project. Even the rough level one of this project will take 2035 to finish. And be mindful, this is aspirational goal. This is like how Elon Musk was landing on Mars in what, 2018 or 2020. So that's the whole thing. Now the main thing is this project is a bit different than Artemis project. Artemis project's end goal is have a lunar base where people are staying there permanently. This puppy is not working like that. They will have equipments, instruments permanently there, but people will keep going back and forth. Basically it will be like a workplace. So that's the idea of it. So China is ready, Russia is ready, they both already signed the Memorandum of Understanding, and ESA is looking, and the moment ESA signs up, other smaller countries can also join in, like Japan. So that's the idea. Now what steps they are talking about here? Now the main this was the announced in presentation. The idea is the whole project would be divided in 3 core steps. Step 1 would be reconnaissance, that will be done by 2025. Now the idea with reconnaissance is going to have the latest generation of basically every technology, basically ground penetrating radar, in basically spectrum analyzer, camera footage, everything. Basically the best of the best would be utilized to create a proper map of moon, which we already have. We already have a very good map. It's just that this will be good enough where they can be like, okay, land here and melt soil here or dig here and you will find ice, that kind of resolution. So that's why they have to spend more time into doing this and do very high research. Basically think of it this way, we already have a moon footage that is like, let's say 20 megapixel. They want to go to 5000 megapixel. So that's why 5 years, and both China and Russia will keep launching reconnaissance orbiters to do that. and they will share information to make a very detailed analysis. Then we come to construction aspect. That should be done by 2030. The idea is construction is they're gonna lay the power work basically. They're gonna have solar farms, they're gonna have communication relays, everything they need to sustain human on there would be done there. This would be basically in early stage it would be done mostly on robotic services, and right now robotic services are very good, and they will lay down the foundation on which people can start joining in the utilization phase, and that puppy should be done by 2035. Now this is a bit interesting. Utilization is like they're going there, and they're not going there we are going for exploration or science or blah blah blah. No, we are going there for utilization. What does that mean? That simply means we want to go there and prove it's viable. Now if you are familiar with ISS declaration, basically what they had to do was like show that it's actually useful. Like you are talking about draining billions and billions of dollars from a bank account, you had to show like there is a business case for it. Now that has been successful and not successful at the same time. So again, ISS did create a lot of spin-off technology, but it was not like, we spent 10, 30, 50 billion and we got like, 100, 200 billion. It was like good, but not great. So here it's a bit different. It's like we're gonna go there and we're gonna try to utilize it as best as we can. For example, some people are suggesting this place has the ability to be the best outpost possible, aka the amount of money humans spend on building ground stations on Earth to do basically astrography. It's not good enough. Basically, simply not only we have light pollution, not only we have giant atmosphere, not all, on top of that we have giant satellite constellation that is like blocking most of the modern telescopes. This can beat all of them for fraction of the cost. So that is like step one. So basically that's the end game here. It's like go there and figure out what to do there, not just explore science and all that. It's like create an equipment where people will want to rent it out. Basically people will pay a lot of money to put a radio telescope here, especially on the dark side of the moon. That would be amazing place to put a radio telescope. That would be amazing place to build deep space network. So that's the idea behind it. Utilize this puppy, not just like lol. No, utilize this thing. That's the different kind of end game here. Now let's understand the aspect of USA here. Now USA at this point in time, remove SpaceX, I'm talking about just raw NASA. They are the most capable and advanced space fleet right now. What does that mean? That simply means if there is a goal, like okay, this is let's say 2025, launch a probe. How many countries can do that? Very few countries can do that. Like even there are many countries like ISRO has the ability to launch rockets. If we don't have the throughput where we can be like, okay, you get the announcement, like done, make the rocket. Like our projects could take 10 years in the planning stage. So when you look about from that point of view, it's like how quickly can you adapt to something? How quickly can you launch something? How quickly you can relaunch something? NASA alone stands. Like basically in a simple way, think of it this way. NASA can literally pick up a phone and be like, Boeing, give me one rocket. ULA, give me one rocket. Other companies, give me another rocket. Like they literally have the ability. Only NASA has this at this point in time. Then we come to SpaceX, which is like, bro, I'm on a different level. Basically, every world is running on 3G, and this boy is running on 4G, and with lower prices. Now, these two combined, the fact that their technology is so far ahead of any Tom, Dick, and Harry else, and the fact it's cheaper, it gives them a superior advantage. And they both are working on something, Artemis. Now Artemis has the issue that it could end up in a scenario where they are directly conflict of interest with ILRS, aka polar location. Basically both of them wants to go to polar location and do things, but right now space is in what we call free for all. Basically you acquire it, it's yours to keep. So there is a very spicy political aspect here, so people want to avoid it. So why USA is in a such an awkward situation at this point in time? Primary reason is because of NASA's stupid decision of Lunar Gateway. Now again, this is not NASA's fault. It's like even if NASA is like, NASA is supposed to give you 10 ideas and government supposed to filter out the bad ones. This time NASA, like I think from next generations onwards, NASA will be like, we're not going to give you any idea. It's like, do this idea, the end. It's like this idea solely, I apologize for power cut. The sole reason for this idea of Lunar Gateway is simply because ISS is being retired. Now ISS was created as an insurance policy, so once ISS is retired, all these space agencies, they can go anywhere else. Example, China. Now because USA blocked China from joining into ISS, China took it a bit personally, and they're like, okay, we're gonna develop our own technology. At this point in time, China is the only individual that can launch human space program and full-fledged space station, which mind you, even Russia cannot do properly anymore. So That is amazing level technological achievement. Now, if Russia joins with there, that gives them 2 human launch capabilities and 2 rocket infrastructure where they can launch payloads and modules and all that jazz. So that gives them very serious advantage at this point in time. If basically European agencies like, dude, why do you want to go orbit moon? Like, this is a bad idea. Like, why do you want to expose astronauts to double the radiation which they should be? Like, yes, going outside what we call Van Allen belt is very radioactive, but why are you double exposing it? It's like, why? You don't need to be on orbit. If you are landing directly on the moon, first, on the night side when you are on the moon, solar radiation cannot reach you because there is a giant moon in between, and half of the radiation from celestial sphere, basically anything that is below your legs, will not reach you. So flat out, it's a perfect radiation shield. And if you utilize regolith itself, basically lunar soil itself, to make shields, that shield will beat anything we can put on space. So why the heck you want to cook our astronaut with goddamn radiation? And this is hyper restored because the orbit is not stable. Lunar location is not stable for orbit, so it requires a propulsion system to keep orbiting. So if they have a fault in propulsion, it will literally crash. So fundamentally speaking, this is a bad idea. From a radiation point of view, it's a bad idea. And in terms of why are you gonna go there, it's like, if this is being done anywhere else, it might be useful. Let's say the best place of this sort of equipment would be Jupiter or Saturn. Why? Because they have enough moons where, like, having a central location would be useful. Here it's useless. Go to the moon directly, and we've been there, like 1969, remember, we've been there. And like, even on Mars, like on Mars you can say, like, land on the moons of Mars. Mars have 2 moons, very small ones, but they do have moons. Do something there, that would be awesome. This is 100% useless. So that's why this approach of utilizing this half-baked equipment, basically at this point in time, if European space agencies seriously consider it, like, okay, we're gonna talk with China, and China and Russia, these 3 people are working together, they have to pull out because there is a serious conflict of interest, and they have to deal with data sharing, which they may figure it out. They may figure it out how to play on both sides, or they might have to simply just like, dude, this is a bad idea, let's just go with lunar base and actually do something with it. So this could literally cripple this Artemis program. So what we can expect in the future, one thing you have to understand thoroughly is that it's just a memorandum of understanding. It's just like politics on hoo-ha. So reality is politics can change, and I mean, it can change 1 year from now or 5 years from now. It's not something absolute. It can change. People can join up, people can leave. So there are many things that can happen, and at this point in time, you have to understand SpaceX at this point in time have the ability to match all these puppies alone. It's like, yeah, I alone can match that. Think of it this way, SpaceX already launched 1000 satellite. Now figure out how many countries have the ability to launch 1000 satellite, how many have done that, and how quickly SpaceX done that. So SpaceX is on a different level. And when the bad idea of basically lunar gateway was suggested, some people came up with I mean, like, actual rocket scientists, actual people working in NASA and all. They're like, let's try to utilize Falcon 9. We have it, it's working. What can we do with this puppy? The idea was they're gonna build few modules, only few modules. Basically, they're gonna have a quote-unquote tractor module that's gonna, basically, this puppy is very good to low Earth orbit. So you're gonna send a tractor in low Earth orbit, then you're gonna have a space module and lunar landing module, and that tractor is gonna ferry between basically lunar orbit and low Earth orbit, and you can refuel it depending on how you want. And here's the deal, they come up with the whole budgeting of the less than SLS launch project. So flat out, they can actually go on the moon, start building today utilizing Falcon 9. So it's already done. Like, a SpaceX is already in a point where they have a human rated system which is reusable. So they got this. It's like they got this, and on top of that they have throughput. So even if 1 or 2 rockets blow up, they're like, yeah, we have 15 more ready to go. So they can alone do it. Now they're working on Starship as of now if Starship is completed by 2028 lunar variant with human rating, be mindful, making a Starship is super easy. Making a Starship that is human rated, that will take time. So getting human rating, comparatively speaking, is a much more difficult thing. But if they can achieve that by 2028, they will be so far ahead. It's like, yeah, you keep doing it, you will come land, like, 2030, I'll be already there. Like, they could have so far ahead because this puppy has enough payload capacity that's like, bitch please. So fundamentally, they have the ability to do it alone, and on top of that, they have the lower prices. It's like, yeah, Russian rocket launch, how many $1 million per kilogram? So that's the whole thing. So at this point in time, it's political thing. So I would urge you to take a deep breath, relax, don't think too much about it. And there might be a very good chance this all may be just for NASA to drop lunar gateway. Who knows? So this was my presentation on basically Russia-China lunar base. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.